In a small village nestled between lush green fields and tall whispering trees lived a quiet girl named Emily who carried dreams in her eyes like stars trapped in a calm sky. She was simple, with a soul so deep that even the rivers flowing beside her home could not match her silence. Her days were filled with the scent of fresh earth, her evenings with the colors of sunsets, and her nights lonely yet hopeful. Emily always believed that somewhere, someone existed who would understand the language of her silence, the meaning behind her shy smiles, and the pain she hid behind her deep brown eyes. Her heart was like a diary never read, pages filled with emotions never spoken. One fine morning, as fate would write its own story, a young man named Daniel arrived in the village. He was from the city, a freelance photographer with a love for untouched nature and untold human stories. He had grown tired of concrete and chaos and came to the village seeking peace for a new project. Daniel was immediately enchanted by the serenity of the place, but what truly captured his heart was a fleeting glimpse of a girl in a red scarf walking through a mustard field. Lost in thought, like a poem walking. That girl was Emily! Their first real meeting happened beside a silent pond on the edge of the village, where Emily often went to escape into her world of thoughts. Daniel, camera in hand, stood behind a tree, admiring the way she sat quietly, staring at the water like it could speak back. She noticed him eventually and gave a polite nod before walking away. But that one look was enough for Daniel to know he wanted to know her story. Over the next few weeks, their paths crossed more often at the local market near the old church, and once when Daniel helped her carry a basket of vegetables. Each interaction, though brief, carried warmth, and slowly a silent bond began to form. Daniel, with his open heart and city charm, was everything new to Emily. With her grounded grace and silent soul, was everything peaceful to Daniel. He began to click pictures, not of landscapes, but of Emily's shadows. Her footprints, the anklet she wore, and the quiet spots she visited. His camera was falling in love with her long before he could admit that he was. Emily, on the other hand, was cautious. She was not used to affection, nor to attention. But there was something about Daniel's gentle nature and the respect in his eyes that made her feel safe. One afternoon, during a local fair, as the whole village danced and laughed, Daniel found her alone under a tree watching children play. He sat beside her and asked, "Why don't you join them?" She smiled softly and said, "Some people are made to watch stories, not be part of them." That line struck Daniel deeply. "Maybe you were just waiting for the right story," he replied, with eyes full of meaning. From that day on, their conversations grew longer, their silences more meaningful. He showed her the city through his camera, and she showed him the village through her eyes. He learned to see magic in simplicity, and she began to dream without fear. One evening, as the sun dipped into the fields like molten gold, Daniel took Emily to the old oak tree where they had first exchanged names. He handed her a small photo album. Inside were pictures of her walking through the field, laughing with village kids, her hand touching the pond water, her eyes closed in prayer. On the last page was a photo of her and him sitting under the same tree, unaware they were being captured by the timer. Below it, he had written, "My journey found its home." Emily looked at him with trembling eyes. He took her hand and said, "You are not just a chapter. You are my whole story. Will you be the co-author of my life?" Tears welled up in her eyes, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming feeling of being seen, chosen, and loved. She nodded. In that moment, two souls from different worlds wrote a new beginning. They did not need big promises or fancy words. Their hearts spoke a language both understood of respect, honesty, and a future full of shared dreams. As time passed, Daniel decided to move to the village permanently. He opened a small studio where he captured not just weddings or festivals, but the raw beauty of village life, the wrinkled face of a potter, the first cry of a newborn, and the smile of a girl who had once only dreamed. Emily became his muse and his partner, not just in love, but in life. Together, they organized exhibitions that told the stories of forgotten people and untouched places. The city began to notice. Their love became more than a personal emotion. It became a light for others to see what love truly meant. Villagers who once whispered about the outsider now came to him with open arms because they saw how Emily blossomed beside him. Her laughter became music, her confidence a quiet strength. Every evening, they sat under the same old oak tree, sipping tea, watching the sun set, and thanking the universe for bringing two wanderers together. Emily, who once feared being a part of any story, now lived inside the most beautiful one. She often told young girls in the village, "Don't fear love. Just wait for the one who sees your soul, not your silence." Daniel would smile, proud of the woman she had always been, but finally allowed herself to become. Years later, their children would ask, "How did you two meet?" And Emily would smile and begin, "It started with silence and ended in forever." Their story was never loud, never dramatic, but it was real, built on stolen glances, kind gestures, mutual respect, and a love that chose simplicity over spectacle. And in that quiet village where once dreams were buried in silence, a tale lived on of a girl with hopeful eyes and a boy with a camera walked side by side, not behind or ahead, but together as true companions of each other's dreams.